Hello and welcome to Koras and the Explorer. So today we're out in the beautiful Brickcroft Nature Reserve and I'm going to be doing a question and answer video. So what I did is I put a post out there on YouTube and also on Facebook and Instagram, and I basically said, has anyone got any questions they'd like to ask me for a video? And to be quite honest, I was absolutely overwhelmed by the response. So I've had quite a lot of questions thrown at me. So I've taken most of them. Some of them repeat themselves, but I've taken most of the questions and I'm going to answer them for you. Now, I'm a bit old in the tooth, so I won't be reading them from my phone. It's a bit disjointed. I'm getting attacked by dogs. And what I've done, I've written them down. So the first question is from Sean Stacey 323, I think it is. I apologise if I've got the numbers wrong, at YouTube, and they've said, what pegs stroke stakes do I use and in what conditions when I'm camping? Well, I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head really, and it does depend upon the conditions. If I'm going out in, you know, nice calm weather, I'll just take the very standard V pegs which come supplied with my Hillyberg Solo, and I'll use them with all my tents, including the land shanner when I was using that. More recently though, I've changed my backpacking tent and I've got an X-Mid 2 solid. Now that comes with some V pegs which are not dissimilar from the Hillyberg ones. They're decent quality and they're quite nice and light, and I used those last time I was out with the X-Mid and I found them really good. What I do tend to use though, if I think the weather's going to be a little bit inclement, or particularly if it's going to be windy, I do take some Delta pegs with me, and I generally take 4 of those, and I'll use them on the main guys, whichever tent I'm using, be it my solo or be it one of my backpacking tents. They're really strong ground anchors and they'll keep your tent in place nicely, but you don't need them unless it's winter, unless there's high wind really. I have seen these kind of nails that you can get, like hollow nails that you can use as pegs. I think the likes of Paul Messner, I've seen using them and they look really good, and that is something I'd be interested in trying out. So maybe in the future I'll buy some of those and give them a little try. Sorry, Cora. What I also use in snowy conditions is I use purpose-made snow pegs. I find them really useful. I used them on my trip up in the lakes when we got absolutely hammered with snow, and they were brilliant. Kept the tent in place nicely. Sean Stacey have also asked, what does Cora use for a sleeping bag, if she uses one at all? Well, she actually uses a woof bag. I'll pop a link in the description. Now, the woof bag we've got was kindly gifted to us by a lady, Chrissy, and that was because I was doing a charity walk in aid of epilepsy research, and she said she was really keen to help us with that, so she sponsored me and donated one of her bags that she actually makes by hand. It's fantastic, it really is. Cora loves it. It's basically, it's almost like a dog kind of bed that you would expect, but without the hardened sides, and she just sits in it and you can wrap her up in the bag. And if you look on some of my earlier videos, you'll be able to see me looking at the sleeping bag and how comfortable she is, but we still use that. The only time I don't take it is if it's very warm summer. In that case, I've got a piece of, you know, this really thin, I think it's about 2-3 mil foam sleep mat for real ultralight campers. Come here, love. And I have a piece cut out for her and she just sleeps on that, and it's just enough to insulate her from the floor. Now, Yasmin's Hiking Mission, which is a great YouTube channel, and she actually inspired me to do this video. She's asked me 2 questions. The first one is, do I have any future long distance hiking plans? Well, I do, Yasmin, yes. I'm actually planning on backpacking the Highland Way in May. I want to do the full route camping. and I'm really looking forward to it. I've done a little bit of planning, and I've been up to the beginning of the Highland Way just to kind of get a feel for the area, and had a little camp up there. So that's where I'm looking for. I would love to do the Cape Wrath Trail. I mean, that's an ambition for me, and I would hope that maybe in the next couple of years I'll be able to do that. I'd really have to improve my fitness though to be able to do that, because I think it's fair to say it's the most challenging backpacking trip in the UK. But it looks amazing. I mean, I've watched Hayes Outdoors when he did it, and yeah, that's my real ambition. But I'm really looking forward to the Highland Way. I'm also considering whether or not I can fit in Hadrian's Wall, possibly towards the end of summer, but I'll have to see work-wise and whether I've got enough leave to do that. Now, Yasmin's also asked me if I have a favourite season to camp in. That's a really tough one. I mean, I do thoroughly enjoy camping in winter, particularly when there is snow down. Love it. I like autumn, I like camping in the wind, really feels like an adventure. Summer, I enjoy summer, but possibly less so because I have to be careful kind of, the time of day that I'm walking and the temperatures, because if it's too hot, obviously Koras is going to have problems with the heat, particularly burning her paws, which is quite a common thing for dogs. So I think, spring, on balance, spring is my favourite time. That's when I tend to go and do my long distance hikes. I've done that for the last few years, West Highland Way, coast to coast, at springtime, and you seem to get just about the right balance in terms of weather. You can get some quite chilly days, but you get some really pleasant warm days, and it's also a beautiful time of year as kind of all the plants are kind of coming out of hibernation and starting to bloom a bit. So we'll go with spring. So I'm going to read this question. It's a little bit longer, and this is off Sam Michmack. Hi Keith, and more importantly Cora. We all love your videos in our house and enjoy your adventures and equipment reviews. Thank you very much. What is most important to you? Comfort or being ultra lightweight? Well, here's a question indeed. It's a balance, to be honest. I'll give you an example. I hiked the West Highland Way a couple of years ago now. Thoroughly enjoyed it. But I went for kind of comfort and security in terms of weather, and I took with me my Hillyberg Solo, I took my X-Therm sleeping mat, I had a Falraven backpack that really comfortable, really solid, handled weight incredibly well. I think it must have been in the region of about 20 kilograms, I think, and that made the hike really difficult. When you're carrying that extra weight in your pocket, you do notice on the long distance hikes, possibly less so on day hikes, but yeah, day after day it does build up. But on the other hand, I don't want to be really uncomfortable. It's important that you can carry the load with some comfort and have a sleep. So I tend to strike a balance. If I'm doing a long distance hike, I've got a prickly gauze backpack, which is quite lightweight. It's similar to an Atom's pack. Really comfortable though, and handles the weight well. I'll take a lightweight tent. In recent years I've been taking a Lanshan 2, and I've just got my X-Mid 2 now instead of that. So it's a balance, is the honest answer. You've got to be comfortable, but you don't want to be carrying an awful lot of weight. I hope that answers your question. Now this is a brilliant question. It's a bit of a fun one as well, and this is from Mad About Scotland, which is a lovely couple I've met up in Glencoe who have a YouTube channel, and it's become one of my favourite YouTube channels to watch. I don't subscribe to that many, but I do subscribe to theirs, and I'd say have a look if you can. I'll put a link in it. And what I'm being asked by them is, I've gone backpacking. Let me read it for you. You've gone backpacking and you've forgotten your food. You're wild camping, you've got a tin of dog food. Do you share it with Cora? Oh, well, funnily enough, I've had a similar experience. couple of years ago, and I was wild camping on the summit of Cadair Idris. It was really rough as well. I mean, it was really windy. If you get a chance to watch the video, it's a cracking video. And I took food, loads of it, but I forgot my cooker. And the food I'd taken was the stuff where you need, the dehydrated food, freeze-dried, where you need to boil water. There was nothing I could burn in terms of wood. It was on the summit of a mountain. So all we had was some kibble type food for Cora, and I had a little pot of custard. So Cora got all the dog food, and I ate my little pot of custard. Had I not had my little pot of custard, well, I think I'd have managed. And Cora just could have had her dog food. I wouldn't take it off her, tempting as that might be. Really good question. Thanks for that one. So my next question is from Robert Branxus. I'm probably saying it wrong, and I apologise for that. And the question is, where did I get Cora's little backpack? Well, I've got a confession to make. That little backpack you see on the channel badge, it doesn't exist. It's actually been AI generated onto the image for Cora, so I can't. But if you are looking for one, and I know in the question you said you have been looking for one for your, I think it was a Schnauzer. There's a company called Mountain Dog, and I think they're based up in the Lake District, and I've used them quite a bit, and they do quite a range of little bags for dogs where they can carry their own little bits of kit. And if you also have a look at some of the videos by Bushman and Blue, I'll leave a link. He's got a couple of videos where he's got panniers on his collie, border collie, and they look really good. There is one thing I'm aware of though. It's important to get a well-fitting pack for your dog, a well-designed one, because some of them can kind of move from side to side and put the dog off balance. But yeah, I'd recommend looking there or looking at Bushman's videos. So Helen Reeves 6978, hello Helen, asks me, where did I get Cora's little coat from? Now I think what you're referring to is, let's get rid of that, is Cora's little red fleece coat, which covers her front and back legs, and it's really useful for keeping her clean. Well, I actually got that online from Awesome Paws, who actually make and sell them, and I'll leave a link in the description. I've seen them made by a company called Aqua Fleece as well, who make them from the Polartec fleece, and I've actually had one of theirs also, and it was really good. Sadly I lost it. Seemed to be getting quite good at that, given I lost my Montaigne jacket when I was in Glencoe as well. Fully recommend those type of dog coats though, not just for keeping the dog warm, as you say. It's not actually about that. It's about keeping the dog clean, because they really help. And if you're sharing a tent with a dog, it's nice to have a dog who's pretty clean when they're getting in the tent. So I hope that helps, and good luck in your search for a coat. Okay, and the next question is from Lister 81G. It says, hi Keith, long time subscriber. While you've been out wild camping, is there anything that's ever put the willies up you? Well, that's a question. I'll take it as you mean, and anything that's kind of made me quite nervous or afraid. I think the most kind of unusual experience I've had while out camping, digging myself into a hole, aren't I? The most unusual experience I've had was actually up on the top of Red Screes, and the clag was in, so it was really cloudy, and it must have been about 11:30 at night, so it was dark. I think it was autumn time, if memory serves right, and there was a really weird bright white light in the sky. Now obviously I couldn't see where exactly it was coming from because of the fog and the clag, but there were no aeroplane sounds, there was no sounds of a helicopter or anything like that, and it kind of freaked me out a bit, if I'm honest. I was thinking, oh, what's going on? Is it aliens? Am I going to get abducted here? But fortunately there was no interest in doing that, and after about 10 minutes the light went. I've looked into this and what happened a little bit, and apparently you can get light from down in the valley, and it sort of reflects within the fog. I think they call it refracting, I think, I might be wrong here, and it can actually make the light appear in the sky, but it's actually coming from down in the valley. But I would say that that probably put the willies up me more than anything when I've been camping. Similar note, Ben 6282 asks the question, what is the strangest experience you've ever had while camping? I'd say that was probably the strangest. An experience that was uncomfortable was actually on the coast to coast, and I won't say the name of the establishment, but there is a hotel along the coast to coast which allows you to camp in a sort of piece of, we'll call it waste ground, kind of just over a small stream from it. And that was quite an uncomfortable night because there's a massive chicken coop there, and the chickens do roam, and there's lots of you call it scat or poo on the floor from the chickens, so it's not pleasant. There are rats there. Actually, I made two friends when I was walking on the coast to coast, two lads, two Mackhams, and they were telling me about the rats, and I didn't believe them. I thought they all wound me up, and I went and had a look, and there was these huge rats, kind of, yeah, about maybe 100 meters away from where my tent was. So that was quite an uncomfortable night because I was concerned about them trying to munch their way into the tent and steal food. They didn't. Possibly having Cora with me helped keep them away, but that was quite an uncomfortable night because I was a bit apprehensive about that. This is you're right, Cora. Oh, are you finished? So SR 6001 has asked me an interesting question. Basically what he's saying is he's going to be doing the West Highland Way, I think this year, and how did I manage with Cora in terms of going into shops, going into showers and using different facilities along the way. He's worried about leaving his dog tied up outside of these places in case the dog's stolen, in case another animal kind of attacks the dog, another dog goes for it. And how did I manage? Well, I guess I was lucky in some ways. At every opportunity I could, I would take Cora in with me. That included when I was using campsites, and if I went and had a shower, she came in with me. I gave her a wash a couple of times. The vast majority of facilities, companies, etc. let me in with her. I never had any problems. There was the Glencoe mountain campsite, you know, the mountain resort there where the campsite is. They wouldn't let her inside of their cafe, which is fair enough, and you have to go in there to boot on. So I tied her up outside, but luckily it's got a full glass wall around it, so I could keep my eye on her the whole time. On one occasion I asked at a small shop, like a spa type shop, and they served me at the door because I said, like, I don't want to leave her. And on another occasion at the Green Welly, I was lucky enough that I'd made some friends, and they actually held Cora for me while I popped into the shop, and I trusted them absolutely. We've been walking for quite a few days, so yeah, but generally I will do everything I can to avoid leaving her outside of anywhere. Well, I won't leave her outside unless I've got her in line of sight, and I'll do without, rather than actually risk that. But I think if you speak to most shops, my experience is that they'll help you out. What I would say is really enjoy the West Highland Way. It is a fantastic trip. Hope you enjoy it. Now, Ian McCready has asked me, do I have a favourite wild camping spot? I have a couple. I won't tell you exactly where they are because I don't want them to get overrun by people. I'm not sure it's fair to do that. But I'll tell you the general area. It's the Dungeon Gill, Great Langdale area. I absolutely love that place. It holds an awful lot of very happy memories for me. It's the first place I ever went hiking, and yeah, up that way, particularly around the Langdale Pikes areas where I like to go as a favourite. It can get a little bit busy these days, but if you kind of move away from the tarn, for instance, if you're going to Angle Tarn or Stickle Tarn up in that area, you're best camping away from the tarn. Otherwise it's very much like a campsite experience. But I do love that place. Hope that answers your question. Right, so my final question is from Kenneth Carter. And he says, enjoyed your coast to coast video. Thank you very much, Kenneth. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We both thoroughly enjoyed the hike. It was amazing. And you said that you did notice that on my video I said I'd wished that I had taken some sandals with me. And basically, why? Well, what I'd done before I went on the coast to coast, I'd bought from Decathlon some lightweight sandals. Again, I'll leave a link for people. They didn't take up a lot of pack space and they were quite light, but I suppose I was being quite ruthless with what I was taking, and in the end I left them, and I did regret it. It was a tough 2 weeks for me in various weathers, and it would have just been nice to take the trainers off, let my feet breathe, but be able to walk around, particularly on campsites. So I should have took them, and I am pretty sure I'm going to take them on the Highland Way with me. It's just nice to be able to kind of rest your feet. I did wear trail runners on it, so it's not like I had great big clunky boots, but it would have just been much better. I think as well, I think if you're using shower facilities as well in campsite, it's good to be able to put something on your feet just to keep them off the floor. Sometimes they can be a little bit dirty. I hope that answers your question. So that is the end of it. Cora has left her mate and decided to get in on the video, as you would expect, really. She had a nice haircut, by the way. She's getting ready for spring. She looks like a puppy now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. We're going to be getting out camping very soon. We haven't been for quite a few weeks now, and we'll see you when we do go camping. If you've enjoyed the video, I'm really pleased. Thanks very much. Please like it. Please feel free to comment. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to and you just enjoy watching the videos, good for you. I'm happy as long as you're enjoying the videos. That's my goal, really. Take care. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.